I've been working as a night security guard in an old 12-story building for 4 years now. Usually, it's quiet. But 2 weeks ago, strange things started happening. First, I noticed that the camera on the 12th floor kept glitching, exactly between 3:17 and 3:19 every night. I thought it was just old equipment. Then I started finding the door to the roof slightly open in the mornings, even though I always locked it with 2 padlocks. One night, I decided to check it myself. I went up the stairs, shone my flashlight around, nothing. Just a strange smell, sweet and rotten at the same time, like someone who hadn't showered in weeks and had been eating canned food up there. The next night, I turned off my flashlight and sat quietly on the stairs in complete darkness. At 3:14, I heard slow movement above the ceiling. Not normal footsteps, more like someone sliding their feet carefully, as if trying not to make noise. At 3:17, the camera started glitching again. Then I heard the roof door creak open very slowly. I stood up and walked up the stairs, heart pounding. I shone the light inside. There was an old dirty mattress in the corner, empty cans of food, plastic bottles, and a small table. On the table lay my work schedule that I had printed 2 weeks ago, and a photo of me, taken from below, near the entrance. On the back of the photo, written in pen, it said, "Thank you for not turning on the lights on the 12th floor. I've almost gotten used to you." I ran out, locked the door, and called the police. They searched the entire roof. No one was there, just the mattress and cans. But the worst part wasn't that. The next night, when I came on shift, the camera on the 12th floor glitched again at 3:17. For 1 second, a face appeared right in front of the lens. It was my face. I met her on Tinder. Her name was Alina. Very beautiful, with sad eyes. She wrote really well and had a good sense of humor. After 3 days, we moved to Telegram. She started asking weird questions very quickly. "You still live on Gagarin Street, building 47, right?" I had never told her where I lived. Not once. I asked how she knew. She replied, "Just a guess." A week later, she wrote, "You came home late from work today. You must be tired." One really did get home at 11:40 p.m. There was no way she could know that. I got scared and blocked her. The next evening, I came home, opened the door, and immediately smelled women's perfume, the exact one she told me she always wore. I live alone. I walked into the room and on the table was her photo, the same one from her Tinder profile, printed out. On the back, written in red pen, "Don't block me. I've been waiting for you for 8 months." It was so lonely. I called the police. They checked the apartment. No signs of a break-in. They said maybe I printed it myself and forgot. But I know for sure, I never had that photo. That same night at 4:12 a.m., I received a message from an unknown number. "I'm standing outside your building right now. Go to the kitchen window and look down. I'll wave." I didn't go. I sat in my room holding a knife until morning. At 6:30, I finally looked out the window. There was no one on the bench across from the entrance, but in the snow, there were clear footprints. They led straight to my building and didn't lead back out. Last month, I lost my apartment keys. It was annoying, but not the end of the world. I called a locksmith, changed the lock the same day, and ordered a new set. Everything seemed fine. 3 days later, I came home from work and found a small envelope on the floor inside my apartment, right by the door. No address, no stamp, just my name written on it in black marker. Inside was my old key, the one I had lost. At first I thought maybe the locksmith had found it and slipped it under the door. But when I checked, the new lock was still locked. The key shouldn't have worked anymore. I tried it anyway. It opened the door perfectly. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about how someone had gotten inside to leave the envelope. The next morning I found another note on my kitchen table. It was written in the same handwriting. "Thank you for changing the lock. I made a copy of the new key yesterday, while you were at work. I like how clean you keep the apartment." I immediately called the police. They came, took the notes, and told me to install cameras. I bought two Ring cameras that same afternoon, one at the front door and one inside facing the living room. That night, at 2:47 a.m., I got a notification on my phone. The inside camera had detected motion. I opened the live feed. The camera showed my living room, but I wasn't home. I was in bed watching the phone in terror. On the screen, I could see a man standing in the middle of my room. He was wearing a black hoodie. His face wasn't visible. He looked straight at the camera for a few seconds, then slowly raised his hand and waved. Then he walked over, picked up the camera, and turned it to face the bedroom door, the door behind which I was actually sleeping. The last thing I saw before the feed cut off was him walking toward my bedroom. I didn't wait. I grabbed a knife and ran out of the apartment in my underwear. I spent the rest of the night at a 24-hour cuff. When the police went to check my apartment the next morning, they found nothing. No signs of forced entry. The cameras were both unplugged, but on my kitchen table was a new note. "I told you I made a copy. Sleep well tonight. I'll be back soon."